Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. It's a beautiful week. Arsenal have gone to the St. James's Park and we have come back victorious with 3 points in what you could say is Mikel Arteta's best performance as an Arsenal manager ever, and that is not an overstatement, and that is not a lie. Mikel Arteta approached that game the way he should. He approached that game with a lot of courage, with a lot of intention, and it actually paid off. From minute 1 to minute 96, Arsenal looked like they were going to win that game. Arsenal looked like they had come for 3 points. And Newcastle, they did whatever they did, but they knew deep down this game is not theirs to win. It's not theirs to lose. And eventually, Arsenal walk away with the 3 points. But what did we exactly learn in this game? Why am I very excited about this Arsenal team in the future? Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and of course, Eberechi Eze. You look at that, those three, and then you think about Mika Marino coming off the bench, and we know how good he is when he comes off the bench. We've seen him for Spain. And then you look at the likes of Gabi, and then you look at the likes of, Nwaneri and Max Downman. This team is something else. And if we don't win the Premier League this season, I think it's going to be a team failing to win the Premier League at 90 points plus. I think Arsenal get to that 90-point mark. And if we don't win it, well, maybe Liverpool have got to the 95 points mark, and maybe Man City get to the 96 points mark. But I think Arsenal will get to the 90 points mark. And this is not because we won. It is the nature of the win. It is the resilience. It's the character. It's the way in which we won that game. Let me know in the comment box below, who was your man of the match? I mean, it's easy for you to go big Gabi because, listen, that was not an easy game. That wasn't an easy game. He had that small altercation with our Nick Woltermed, where Woltermed kind of pushes him a little bit. I think it's a shove in the back. It's a little bit light for me, for him to go down. He's a big centre back. But it was a game that had already been kind of made emotional by VAR and match officiation. So if there is little or minimal contact on Victor Gyökeres, which I think, by the way, there is a lot of contact, but I think it's not a penalty because Nick Pope plays the ball. That's why, for me, that's the only explanation I can go with. It's not a pen because Nick Pope plays the ball, but there's a lot of significant contact, and the striker is not looking for it. He's not looking for it, right? It's a pen. But if they're saying it's not a pen because he played the ball, for me, those are the rules, and I would understand. But Arsenal having been denied that penalty, you could see the emotions rising. And then Nick Woltermed pushes Gabriel in the back to get a free header. Now, again, for me, if that is a goal, I don't have a problem with that. I really, really don't have a problem with that. I think the referee has judged this subjectively, and he says maybe it's a slight push, right? So that's okay. So Gabi throughout the game is worked up, right? And is pushing himself with Woltermed and is trying to make these blocks and is doing whatever he can to actually make sure that we come back in the game. And eventually, we come back in the game and we even go to the extent of winning it. And guess who wins it? It's Gabriel Magalhaes. So if you tell me that Gabi is your man of the match, I would understand. Had a very, very good game. Had a very, very good game. But for me, my man of the match in this game, and this might surprise people a little bit, right? This might surprise people a little bit. I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna talk about Christian Mosquera because I think I don't think he was having a bad game really. But for me, my man of the match again in this game, I want to give this to Eberechi Eze, and I want to give Eze the man of the match award because I've stolen it from Declan Rice. And I've given it to Eberechi Eze. I'm sorry, Gabriel. I'm sorry, Declan. Those are the two men of the match that are really deserving. Rice had a game. Rice had a game. But I'm going to tell you why I'm giving it to Eberechi Eze. Simple. I want you to look at these statistics. I want you to look at these numbers, right? And these are the Arsenal numbers in this game. And you're going to notice something very, very different. Arsenal had 20 shots on goal, and we had 7 shots on target, right? And we had 495 touches. Is that familiar to the Manchester City game? Yes, it is very similar to the Manchester City game, and it's really, really familiar. These numbers are familiar. Arsenal have always been having these numbers, but we have not been able to convert them into dangerous attacks, right? The presence and the mind of a player like Gabriel Eze being present on the pitch is so significant for Arsenal and so different. And I saw him try, and I saw him. What I like about him is he really doesn't have this button of, playing the ball safe behind him. Like, he doesn't think about playing the ball behind. He thinks about going forward. Like, going forward and going forward and going forward and going forward. And there was a time, I think, where Newcastle were kind of frustrated with him. Like, they were really, really frustrated because they had sat into a very good mid-block, especially at the beginning of the second half. They sat in a very good mid-block. And they know from last season's experience, they beat Arsenal 3 times. And they know that if you sit in a very good compact low block or mid-block, you actually beat this Arsenal side. And it could have been as easy as that and as simple as that. But with players like Gabriel Eze, it is actually not that simple, right? Because he's got the ability to unlock defenses. He's got the ability to unlock, the bus. And that's what Eze was trying to do again and again and again and again. And shout out to Nick Pope. What a game he had. He deserves a point in this game. Maybe he deserves 3 points in this game, Nick Pope. And the goals that were scored yesterday, extraordinary goals, right? You don't blame any of them on the goalkeeper. But for me, I'm going to give it to Gabriel Eze as my man of the match. But the real man of the match is Declan Rice, okay? I want you to understand this. The real man of the match in that game is Declan Rice. The whip on the cross, the hard work, the relentlessness, the never giving up. He had a fantastic game. But I want to give it to Gabriel Eze because for me, I prefer this Arsenal team attacking and opening up defenses and doing things I've never seen before, especially under Mikel Arteta, taking risks and being as good as we were, right? And that is what we saw yesterday. So, what do we learn from this game? What do the numbers teach us? And what does the performance really teach us? First and foremost, I said this when I said, what do Arsenal need to do to win the league? And I said, you've got to win ugly. You've got to win ugly. Now, yesterday wasn't an ugly performance. It wasn't a bad performance at all by any standards, but it was an uncomfortable performance, right? I think there is a difference there, honestly. Uncomfortable performance and ugly performance. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't ugly. I think it was ugly for for Newcastle. They would have said, listen, we've won this game, but we didn't deserve. We deserved to win that game. And that takes me to point number 1. Can you get points regardless of how early or how late in games that you deserve to win, right? Because we deserve to win doesn't add points to your table. We deserve to win does nothing. But do you have the squad depth to, change it up and win the game, right? Because yesterday it was just a few tweaks. Mikel Merino coming on, and then Lewis Kelly coming on as well, and then, the game changed. So yes, Mikel Arteta, credit to you, that was your win. And that takes me to lesson number 2. That was Mikel Arteta's best performance as a manager. There is no reason as to why you're going to play a team like Newcastle. There is no reason as to why you're going to play a team like Brighton, and then you play defensive football. These teams are at the same level, if not below our level. It's as simple as that. They've got Nick Woltemade, we've got Gyökeres. They've got Gimares, we've got Zubimendi. They've got Jolinton, we've got Declan Rice. We are even better in some of these, in some of these positions. We are better than these teams in many of the positions. So why don't you be proactive? Why don't you be sharp and start the games with attacking mode and the mentality that we are actually here to win? And that's what happened. That's what happened in that game. Mikel Arteta comes into this game and it's like, okay, whatever happens, we are here to win and we are going to win this game. and we won, right? The changes were positive. The starting 11 was positive. I was so happy to see him bring on Martin Odegaard, with Martinelli coming onto the pitch as well, with Eze staying on the pitch, and Deckers is also still on the pitch. That was a proactive manager. And if we had lost that game because we were, just attacking, I think anyone would say, listen, Arsenal tried to go for the jugular and they lost it, they lost the game. It's the same thing that Newcastle did. No one is going to despise Newcastle for losing that game, because they bring in Anthony Elanga. They also bring in Osula to win the game. Right? And by attacking, they lose, but with a lot of respect. Point number 3, and lesson number 3. I think this is the most important lesson that we saw yesterday. Goals win games. Right? Goals win games. And this is the negative, right? I think it is not yet there. Our ability to score goals, our ability to create chances, it is not yet there. And I'm not saying it won't come around. It will come around, right? It is just not yet there. I don't think it is there yet. I don't think we are at this level. I don't think we are at that level where scoring goals is easy for us. And we've got a number 9 that I am so sorry. It doesn't look good for Gyökeres. It really, really doesn't look good for Gyökeres. I am about to reach a point where I want Mikel Merino to start up top. It's not looking good for Gyökeres. He's no, guys. I don't know whether this is too harsh from me, but I kind of feel like he's making it difficult for us to score than easier. Are we not creating enough chances for the striker? Maybe. But is he really? I am just so confused, because this is a guy that scored 100 goals in 100 appearances? And we all knew there was going to be that difficulty in making that jump, right? We knew. But when I look at Ekitike, when I look at these other strikers, the runs they make, the intelligence, it's not there, right? It's just not there. Is it the way Mikel Arteta is using him? Maybe. But as well, when I think about Gyökeres, I'm thinking about a striker that has got one move. Like, chop back to your stronger right foot and shoot. I want my striker to have options. I want my striker to fight for balls in the air. I want my striker to be able to do tap-ins. I want my striker to be able to lead counterattacks. And Gyökeres has got that ability, because we know he's done that. He has caused problems for teams like Man City. I mean, he looks really bad. I'm not going to lie. I don't know whether we need to talk about Victor Gyökeres, but it's not looking good. I can't lie to you. It is not looking good when it comes to Victor Gyökeres. It's not looking good. And this team's ability to score goals, it really hinges on him performing well. Because if you have a striker and you want to feed that striker has got to score. Otherwise, you're going to be creating chances and, your striker won't be able to score. So for me, the runs are not there. They're not coming well enough. He's reminding me of this guy, Rasmus Højlund. But maybe it's too early. And all players are not going to start off very well the way Christian Mosquera started off. So let's talk about Christian Mosquera for a moment and the incident that leads to a goal. I don't want people hating on my boy, Christian Mosquera, because Mosquera doesn't struggle in that game. He didn't struggle in that game, didn't he? He made one mistake, right? And maybe Mikel Arteta takes him off and he says, let me bring on Saliba and, guarantee a win. And that's very, very good coaching. That's very, very good very good management by Mikel Arteta. Very good. But that doesn't mean Mosquera shouldn't start the next game. That I should see Mosquera starting against Olympiacos. Okay? He's a good player. He had a good game. He had one moment where maybe it's not even a misjudgment because he wants to play that ball to back to his goalkeeper, and he's got every right. He's got every right to actually do that. So if anyone is telling you that Mosquera had a bad game or Mosquera is not good enough, no. It was one moment, it led to a goal, and apart from that, Arsenal should have scored a lot of goals the other way. Trossard should have scored, Eze should have scored, Saka should have scored, Gyökeres should have scored. We cannot isolate Mosquera alone. There were so many chances for us to score, and we actually didn't take them. So those 3 points take us second, 2 points behind Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool losing to Crystal Palace. Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace is a very, very good team, but they have Chelsea over the weekend. If they don't beat Chelsea, Liverpool, I think they will. But if they don't beat Chelsea and Arsenal win, we might go into the next international break on top of the table. So looks like the title is building momentum. And it's a little bit too early for us to go for a title talk. It's a little bit too early. But it's now 7 games in. And when you go into, when you complete the first 10 games, hit the like button. I'll speak to you right in the next one.